Yeah, we actually have a routine. We have a routine. There's something that we do Tuesday morning. We get up and we know that we're going somewhere and we're going to do something. To kind of have some semblance of normalcy, we decided that what we would do is we would gather together on Tuesday mornings from 9 until 10 each Tuesday morning, just as a peaceful, informative rally. We just want to inform the public and the people around us that people are losing jobs. They're losing jobs, they're losing their livelihood, and also people are at risk for losing, because not everybody has lost their jobs. But like today, the hydro workers, they're out. For those that didn't disclose or opted to just not take the shot, they're out of work, and so their termination will eventually come, because that's just how it works. They put you on unpaid leave and then they terminate you. The Tuesday is just a way for everybody to support one another, because we need support. And if we didn't support each other, I think people would really fall apart, because then they have no sense of being. And you need to have a sense of belonging, and so we have our new community, our new group, and people from the community rally around us, and we rally around one another to just offer the support, because people are hurting. There's mortgages that need to be paid, and there's food and bills and no money coming in because the government has cut us off, right? And so it's something we all look forward to. We actually have a lot of fun on the line, so it's nice, because it gives us an opportunity to get out there and wave at people that might just need somebody to smile and wave.
And they're rushing to have dinner, they're rushing to get the kids to bed and do their book stories, and they're not hearing it.
There's nurses behind the line that are supportive of us. They don't come to our rallies. They've actually been threatened that if they show up and support us, that they're at risk for termination or discipline. So we get it, because we don't want them to be terminated. We don't want them to be disciplined. We understand, because many of the people on the other side of the fence, they took the shot because they had to. They had a family to support. They didn't want it. They didn't agree with it. They don't agree with it. But they took the shot because they have families to feed. They might be the sole breadwinner of the home. They have mortgage payments. They have car payments. I opted to not take the shot because it's highly suspicious when somebody starts asking questions and they're shut down. And that's what was happening. Just with Dr. Hoff, for example, he asked questions. He was inquiring, and then he lost privileges. For me, that's a red flag. When we can no longer ask questions, that's what we do as nurses. That's what we do as healthcare professionals. We ask questions, and we need answers. We weren't getting those answers. And so it raised a lot of red flags. There was no transparency. They just kept wanting to shut us down, and they just wanted us to just do what we were told. With the flu shot, that was a consent thing. Our union went to bat for us, and they fought against what the employer was trying to do and making it mandatory for us to have flu shots. They fought and won. We didn't, the workers didn't have to take flu shots. They could opt out. There was a consent. There was a consent to take it or a consent to not take it. You had the right to refuse. We don't have the right to refuse. Their government has made it where they're pressuring everybody below them to do their bidding. And government is, they're acting unlawfully. My name is Coleen, and I've been nursing since 2004. I was an RN. Now I'm terminated. I've been terminated, first time ever in my life. So that's huge. You know, it's very hurtful. You feel like they've just kind of kicked you to the curb. You're to go out with the garbage, you know, each day. I feel betrayed. I think others do as well. I mean, we've worked all these years providing care for people, respecting choices. Patients make choices every day when they come into the hospitals, and you know, we don't always agree with the choices that people make, but we respect them because they have their reasons for why they would choose something. And so that's something that we, as healthcare professionals, we would that was part of our training: respect choice. And so I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that people can't see this for what it really is. They're refusing. They're choosing fear over facts, and it's heartbreaking, really. It's changed relationships. People who I considered near and dear friends, they don't talk to me anymore. You say hello to them, and they just kind of shrug you off, like, who are you, you know? And I mean, maybe we were never friends. I don't know. I'd like to think we were. But it's really heartbreaking to see the division that's taken place with friendships, with families, with society. I mean, my goodness, it's vaxxed and non-vaxxed. And if you're one of those, well, you can't enter here and you can't do this, you know. And people are okay with that, and I think it's very sad. And financially, I mean, right now we have no income coming into this home, and you know, we have a little bit of savings, and that's what we're living off right now, trying to decide what to do next. We've talked and contemplated the idea of moving away, and you know, is anything going to change if we move? It's doubtful, because this is kind of everywhere, and at least here we know people. We have a good support group that we've developed, and so that's important. Those are the friendships that we have now more than anything. We have to rely on each other because society is pushing us aside.
My name's Conrad Welton. I'm Colleen's husband. We've been married for over 30 years now, and we've lived in this little town for, well, she's lived here most of her life, and I've been here for about 41 years, raised our family here. Like most families, you think starts out as two, and before you know it, you got all this. You got children, you got grandchildren, you got a lot of things that have happened. There's people around the world that don't have these pictures on the wall because there's so much turmoil happening in their countries. But because somebody fought for our freedom, we've been able to duplicate this thousands of times in Canada. And now we're willing to give it all up out of fear. And yeah, we may not be able to have this in the future. I hope it continues on. I hope our kids can have these pictures on the wall just like us, and their kids as well. Then along comes this, I don't know how to describe it. It's not Ebola. You would think it was. It's been blown out of proportion. It's real. We realize that. But the flip-flopping back and forth from the doctors and the politicians, it's politically driven, so much of it. I don't know what the alternative is, because those that think because they got this jab that they're in the clear in a country that has all these rights being taken away, eventually it's going to affect each and every one of us. It might be a little further down the road, but we've all watched what's happened. History repeats itself. There's another side of this that just isn't being heard. It's only one side. One side's making a lot of money, and one side's losing everything. I tend to trust the unbiased losing everything side over the side that is pushing this thing. And if you think you're going to be exempt from all this stuff just because you did this, and I'm very tired of it being virtue signaled, like if you cared about people, you would do X. Well, I do care about people, and so do the nurses and doctors who are on the other side of this. And it's a terrible thing to demonize everybody who has a different opinion in this, when they've got so many things they've seen and so many questions, and there's so much proof that this has been politicized and just blown out of proportion. There's a lot of people in the midst of this that are, we're worried for them, losing their homes. We're concerned for some in regards to possibly suicide or anything like that. There's just a side of this that it's just heartless. It seems it's like an extreme punishment for not complying to something that is so up in the air with the way things have been tested, and then even the side that's pushing this said that kids weren't in harm's way, and now they're wanting to put injections into the arms of little children. It seems like the only cure for this thing is an injection. There's no other way to treat it. I've never seen anything treated like this before. Natural immunity is ignored. Because of all the things that the medical people on this side of the aisle have seen, they want to speak and they can't, and now they're losing their jobs. And so at the end of the day, the pride I feel for those that are standing up for others in regards to this is second to none. My wife, so proud of her when she decided she wanted to become a nurse. She's always had a passion for helping people, and she was just gifted. You know, all the sacrifices that she had made over the years, they were all in the past because she had reached her goal, and we were just really happy with the way things were going. And then we spoke of loss of our son, and
It's, you don't know. Sorry. It's a wave and a trigger. And you don't ever know when those are coming. I mean, initially, it was easy because they were just coming every day, all day. But yeah, it just surprised me opening up the book. So this is our son, Kyle, and he was a pretty funny kid, full of energy, full of smiles. He was the youngest in our family. He graduated in 2015, and then in 2016, end of February 25th, he was coming home from from a trip with his buddy coming home from Kelowna. And he had just gone down for a night. He goes, Mom, it's just going to be overnight. And I was trying to get him to get a job. I wanted him to go and apply for a job. And, oh, Mom, it's just going to be overnight. I'll be back tomorrow. And it was towards the end of my shift. And my husband had phoned and said that there had been a terrible accident and that our son was being airlifted to Kamloops. He ultimately had lost the vision in his right eye, and he had other injuries. And amazingly, he made a miraculous, and it was literally a miraculous recovery, because we were told that he was going to be a completely changed and different kid than what we knew him as. You know, he started to progress, and we eventually brought him home, and he was starting to improve, and he was gaining his strength back, and he was becoming his witty self. He was out in the backyard wrenching on his truck, and you know, he started hanging out with his friends a little bit more, and you know, he was excited to move forward with life. And then 6 months to the day of his accident, for that he started to kind of decline a little bit, and he just wasn't having the energy that he had just before. He was not feeling all that great, and you know, his heart was racing, and he just was not himself. He was starting to decline. And the next morning they had ran some tests, and it was confirmed that he had acute myeloid leukemia. And not only that, but he had a complex karyotype, which means basically it's the least treatable. In April 11th of 2017, he lost his fight. But he fought hard. He was very, very special. But thankfully for us, he made a decision, and he accepted Christ into his heart. And so I know one day I'm a believer in Christ, and one day I'll get to see him again, and I will be getting a pretty big hug. But he, and everything that he went through, and everything we went through, I believe is what's made me strong enough to fight today, strong enough to stand up and speak out. Yeah, I think he'd be pretty proud. Yeah, he was a pretty good kid.